Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and hey, you can do this. Because this is Airwindows Galactic3. So what does that mean? Well, you can do this, but you can also do this. Here's the deal with Galactic. Galactic is here, let me cool that off just a bit. Galactic is probably my most popular reverb ever. I've made lots of them for lots of reasons, and nothing has ever really captured people's imaginations as much as this one. I mean, it's even in the Surge XT synthesizer, and is a favorite patch for those folks. It's already out, so maybe you've already got it. If you've never heard of it, it's got this replace function which lets you go from a relatively normal sustain function to basically infinite. You've got brightness. Here, I'll show you a little bit of that. There's full brightness. We've also got this detune, which is more hard to hear on this kind of background noise thing, but it will let you get really wide stereo. If you increase it, one channel goes real sharp and the other channel goes real flat. There's this sort of vibrato thing going on in there. And then you've got bigness. Bigness is a little strange, because what you can do with that is change the entire size of the reverb to become tiny, and then you can expand it again. If you so choose. And you can do all of that stuff with the original Galactic, but what you can't do is Derez. Because Derez is the new code for my newer reverbs. And what the original Galactic did was something that was kind of like Derez, in that it, at higher sample rates, it would undersample the reverb, and it would do it in such a way where, kind of like my plugin CrunchCoat, it draws a straight line between stretched out reverb points. Well, my good quality reverbs, rather than CrunchCoat, which is kind of like a cursed digital retro kind of vibey thing. If you're interested in that, then go ahead and check it out. My good quality reverbs are using a new kind of undersampling where I'm using Bezier curves to reconstruct the shape of the waveform. Now, there's one small problem. You're not supposed to use Bezier curves to reconstruct a waveform. It makes no sense sound-wise. But it makes sense in visual arts, and it's in like Photoshop and Illustrator and a bunch of other things. And it turns out it's a fairly efficient way of making a curve that is smooth. Thing is, it's not a curve that is both smooth and makes sense in terms of what frequencies it's supposed to produce. Instead, it's a curve that is smooth and doesn't really pay any attention to what the super high frequencies are really supposed to be doing. So what we get is this. Like here is, let's put the brightness back. I suppose I don't need to. Let's leave the brightness cranked way up, and let's turn detune all the way down and have a really accurate picture of what we've got here. And then if we do this, well, there is a kind of rock band sound stuck in the infinite reverb. If we use Derez, we're just changing the pitch of that. and you'll have less and less high frequencies. It'll act like a low-pass filter. It'll act kind of like a brick wall filter, but it's really not. And then let's go and replace that with the original sound again, but now it's going to be undersampled. The high frequencies of the original sound won't get to come through anymore. In fact, I'll even let you hear the original sound as well as the reverb sound. Actually, let's leave it going while I move that control. Now we have the infinite reverb, but it's undersampled, so it doesn't get to have any high frequencies. But it's using a Bezier curve to reconstruct, so it's got this unusual, interesting character to it. And since we have it stuck in there, we can play with the Derez. Let's pick that one. That sounds like a weird artifact. And then if we let it fade away, you'll also notice that as the downsampling happens, the size of the space gets huger. Check this out. And that's what it sounds like. We set that to 100% replace. And we've got some of that weird artifacty sound, but it has a whole new style now because we played into it directly. So we have the what you might call realistic band sound going in there and then getting trapped in this undersampled nightmare. The more you downsample like this, the finer grained it will be. And that is a low frequency sound. And it is a impossibly immense reverb because it's maximum bigness, but then it's also undersampled incredibly far. That has the same effect, and that works the same way for my other reverbs that have a Derez, of expanding the size of the space by the amount that you're undersampling it. As you lower the pitch, the room gets bigger until it becomes this. So the final trick to do with Galactic and I'll just put it on this. This is some kind of like 200 or 800 hertz sampling rate. This is bonkers. So all of the sound you're getting out of this is essentially like weird reconstruction. It doesn't have any purpose in an audio thing. It's meant for reconstructing visual lines in an art program. But this is what we use. And you might ask, what if you wanted to have this sound, but not have the infinite size thing? Well, there's something we can do about that. Watch this. If you use the bigness to scale the size of the actual reverb down and make it smaller, then you can get something that'll act like a wildly undersampled but normal-sized room. Brightness still works, by the way. Detune still works. when you have a really small reverb that is, the bigness is this small, then no matter what you do with it, it's going to be kind of closet-like. And so with this, what we can do is, without touching bigness, because bigness is going to smash the buffers, remember. If you move bigness, you get crackly noises. If you move Derez, you get something weird and amusing. And that is Galactic3. So again, you've already got a Galactic 1, and this is an exact reproduction of Galactic 1 except for it has the Derez. There's also a Galactic 2, and the reason I should make a point of mentioning that is because I had to do a bug fix on it recently. And the current Galactic 2 that you can download anywhere, whether it's on my page, whether it's the collections of plugins, whether it's in Consolidated, if you re-download Consolidated, Galactic 2 will be fixed. It turns out that there was a bug with it, and the bug was making it unreliable. Like it would pop or cut out or misbehave sometimes. And it was an uninitialized variable or 4 that I'm grateful to be told about. So having been told about it, I went and fixed it everywhere that it existed. Galactic 2 is not the same thing as Galactic, because Galactic was that particular combination of things, like the right convolution reverb. It's not actually a convolution reverb. What am I thinking? The right householder matrix reverb and the right combination of controls and how they worked and what they did just kind of worked for people. In particular, detune is something people really enjoy because what they can do is make the reverb incredibly wide. Galactic 2, which is now fully working, so you can try it if you'd like, doesn't use the same technique. Instead, it feeds in sound on either the left or the right into a crossways householder matrix, kind of like my more current reverbs, and that means it handles the stereo field a little bit differently. Whereas Galactic, original Galactic, and also Galactic 3 now, handle the stereo more like a weird dual mono chorused thing, where it just goes crazy super wide. It just gives you incredibly wide reverb if you want it. And you can use all of these things. Hop to it. Have fun. I think this is indeed the update to Galactic that I wanted to be able to do, because anytime I do an update to something like this, I'm going to want to do it better, but that's not always possible. This time I think it is. Now I'm going to get back to my regular work. What I've been doing is working on the hit record meter. If you use it, expect some changes. I'm probably going to tell my Patreon about the newer update that will be coming because it's too soon to do another video. The video will give you the gist of what that stuff is about, but the update is because there were some glitches and funny behaviors, and in pursuing them, I ended up just reevaluating everything and doing a bunch of new stuff, which I'm pretty excited about. But if you're using the current one, don't put too much stock in that final score rating, because that's the part that I've been working on and changing. And I have many differences, which I feel are doing a good job. And I am erasing the ratings and labeling on upwards of 600 songs that I have gone through and evaluated in real time, as in I don't have a way of doing it speeded up. And I'm starting over, because once I finish doing that, if I have it working, it's not like I get to design it so that it will be like, okay, top score is the biggest hit record, and then other scores are lesser of hit records. No. Instead, it's telling me things about what kind of sound I'm working with. And if I can work that stuff out, what that means is I can measure another 600 to 1,000 songs one at a time in real time and have it sort them into categories that will be, rated with the little letter ratings that I've got. And then I can analyze that and go, okay, A is for the super high energy, exciting, exhausting stuff, and B is more likely stuff that people will find comfortable, and like E or F rating, those categories are like really chill, relaxed, calm stuff that people enjoy, and if the hit records land there, it's because they're really good at being calm. Which means if you want to make music that is really cool and chill and relaxing, you don't target the AA rating. You target the rating that goes with what you're working on. And that's what I'm working on, so I'll get right back to it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.